Welcome to Motoring Monday for November 9th, 2015. I'm Sam Haymart for Test Driven TV. This week we're looking at some of the hot concept cars that made their debut last week at the SEMA Show in Las Vegas. These would be from Kia, Toyota, and Jeep. Also in our test drive we had a chance to sample the 2016 Lincoln MKX luxury crossover, and I have to admit I was a little bit surprised. And in a reality check segment, Hyundai finally launches their own luxury brand. All of this, it's coming right up. Well, some automakers come to SEMA and show cars that showcase dealer accessories or other bolt-ons that really show their car's potential. Kia, they just build crazy stuff that makes you smile. Our first example is the A1A Optima, named aptly for Florida's coastal byway, most known for its winding tropical paradise route through the southern Keys. So the A1A Optima loses its top so you can take in the Sunshine State, seeing it and smelling it as you motor along. Built by Lux Motorworks, the car gets suicide doors and a strengthened body structure trimmed out with white leather seats, a shortened windshield, and a custom turquoise paint job. The 20-inch HRE wheels and Tiara luxury grills make it just as at home at South Beach as in the Keys. The PacWest Adventure Sorento is just as bonkers, but themed for the Pacific Northwest mountain life. It's a crossover, but this one's been fully tube framed and gets a major lift with an infusion of robust mechanicals to back up its looks in the rough. Looking like something out of the Jurassic Park movie, the custom Sorento has a chameleon paint job to go with its LED light bars, matte black trims, and 17-inch beadlock wheels. The roof rack is a survival kit with everything needed for extended immersion in the woods. And just because it's a minivan doesn't mean it can't be fun. In fact, this concept is the one to me that smacks the most possible of a production intent model, that being a crossover pickup. But that pie in the sky notion aside, this concept is still over the top. The Photo Safari Sedona is themed as an image capturing machine with endless possibilities for photographers to capture nature as they ride. It's packed with camera mounting possibilities in addition to all-out off-road mods, a list way too long to get into here. Then there's the Forte Coupe Mud Bogger. Really? Yeah, really. This is what happens when you take the dune buggy approach to your average front-wheel drive sport compact coupe and add a dose of race-built off-road hardware. Another built by Lux Motorworks, this one gets a 4-inch lift, 28-inch off-road tires, and a full tube frame and suspension makeover to make it the real deal. And it just makes sense, doesn't it? A Forte Coupe for mud bogging. I tease, but I have to hand it to Kia for making some of the Galpin Autosports creations at the SEMA Show look mild by comparison. Bottom line, someone has to create things that only a kid could dream up, and Kia, I think, has got the knack for it. Jeep always brings something special to the SEMA Show, and this year, the Wrangler Rubicon Red Rock concept stole the show, a concept that might just make it to reality. The Wrangler Red Rock concept is based on the Wrangler Rubicon Hard Rock, but includes a lot of visual details and even mechanical goodies to set it apart. What's expected here already is the next generation Dana 44 front and rear axles and a rock track transfer case with a 4:1 low range and a 73.1:1 crawl. Visually, it's got a power dome vented hood, off-road rock rails, and red tow hooks front and rear, which are Rubicon staples. Red Rock specific doodads include unique badges and decals, low-gloss granite crystal off-road bumpers, a body color grille, and low-gloss black grille and headlamp accents. The Red Rock concept looks meaner by way of its 2-inch lift kit and 17-inch low-gloss black beadlock wheels. Wrapped around them are 35-inch BFG K02 all-terrain tires, which, by the way, seem to be the hot rubber of late for off-roading. There's also LED headlamps and fog lights, and a Jeep-branded CB radio. There's an aftermarket worn Rubicon winch, front and rear differential covers, a reinforced swing gate and wheel mount, all to add some custom vibe. Its interior gets rich amaretto brown catskin leather seats with silver accent stitching, and of course, Red Rock is embroidered into the seat backs. A serialized Red Rock grab handle plaque is on the dash to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Easter Jeep Safari. Will the Wrangler Red Rock make it to production? I'd say yes, but chances are it'll have a few less of the aftermarket-y details that we see on this one. Chances are we'll know by next Easter. At the SEMA Show, Toyota showed up with more modified vehicles than almost any other manufacturer, with a lot of production intent for accessories, but they also brought a little crazy. The milder forms of automotive candy this year were a full line of SEMA edition TRD concepts of their production cars, and while they were all different, the common thread was lowered and modded suspensions, bigger wheels, better brakes, and performance exhaust from TRD. These included a Toyota Avalon, a Camry, and a Corolla sedan with parts that are either currently available through your dealership or prototype parts that they wanted to get the thoughts on from their dealers. There was even a SEMA TRD edition Highlander which looked pretty wicked. It got the full deck out with TRD seats, a black and red interior makeover, and a healthy dose of new visuals on the exterior. A lowered suspension and 20-inch wheels really go a long way to transforming this soccer mom's car to something else entirely. With the redesign of the 2016 Land Cruiser, it too got the TRD treatment with a more off-road path than the others. The front is lifted 2 inches and the suspension got TRD adjustable remote reservoir coilover shock absorbers all around. There were many more builds, but my favorite was the Tundrazine concept. They took a 1794 edition Tundra and stretched it a full 90 inches, added 2 sets of doors, and just really created something that'll even be harder to park than the base truck. The custom brown interior trappings are designed to rival corporate jets in creating what Toyota calls the ultimate in executive transport. Well, whatever you call it, the Tundrazine has a lot more gravitas than any Lincoln Town car. Incidentally, I happen to be testing a 2016 Toyota Tundra 1794 edition this week. I'll have a full review coming soon. My bet is I'll probably get better fuel economy than that thing will. And speaking of test drives, I recently had the chance to spend some time in Lincoln's new MKX crossover, and based on my last few Lincoln drives, I was prepared to be underwhelmed, but I'm glad to say that I wasn't. Our tester was a fully loaded black label model with a black tie exterior and the very rich interior in the thoroughbred theme. That interior featured acres of warm woods, hand-stitched leather hides not only on the seats, but everywhere you look and feel. In fact, I had to sit in that interior a while just to soak it all in before actually taking it for a drive. It has the 22-way power adjustable seat, which after making 2 to 3 of those 22 adjustments, I found my happy spot and was on my way. This one had the range-topping 2.7-liter EcoBoost twin-turbo V6 and all-wheel drive. That brings 335 horsepower and 380 pound-feet of torque, which is good. The surprise was the fact that the computer lets you have all that power when you ask for it, and I mean now. Its acceleration is therefore neck-snapping right out of the gate, as I found just before I had to slow to miss a deer. And with the Lincoln Drive Control Mode selector, you can dial the ride from the typical Lincoln mush bucket to a pretty firm and precise feel when you get to the corners. And that here was my big good impression with the new MKX. While the leathers, woods, and technological features are impressive and things we could talk about all day, it's the premium driving experience which really took me by surprise. It feels for the first time in a long time like much more than a gussied up Ford. And while the MKX does share its underpinnings with the Ford Edge, the transformation here is nothing short of impressive, and it needs to be, as our tester stickered at a pretty heady $65,000. That puts it directly in the crosshairs of Lexus and Mercedes-Benz price-wise, and while that might be hard to swallow for some at first blush, after spending some time in this one with its rich natural finishes and refined demeanor, I can say that if Lincoln continues down this path, they might just stick around. The 2016 Lincoln MKX is on showroom floors right now where it's actually performing pretty well in terms of sales, and now I see why. So if you're in the market for a luxury midsize crossover and you're not completely sold on a BMW, a Lexus, or Mercedes-Benz, this one really is worth a look. You knew it had to happen. Hyundai's finally breaking their Genesis line of cars out into a separate standalone luxury brand very similar to Lexus or Infiniti. It just makes sense, as Hyundai's been reaching into the higher echelons of the automotive market segments with their large Genesis and Equus models, which are priced and marketed far and away from the brand's bargain basement cars like the Accent, which currently shares the same showroom floor. The new Genesis brand starts officially in December, and they say will offer 6 new models by 2020, which will compete with the likes of Lexus, Infiniti, Audi, and the like. They plan to concentrate on 4 main areas: human-focused innovation, refined and balanced performance, athletic elegance in design, and a hassle-free customer experience. And what they may be selling us in the immediate future is some of what we've already seen, such as the Genesis sedan and the next generation range-topping Equus. And that sexy new coupe concept Hyundai showed us at this summer's Pebble Beach, well, we can expect that too. These will all get a newly designed version of the Genesis logo when the brand becomes official, which is more elegant and upscale. The cars, like most competitors, will get their own alphanumeric naming structure starting with G for Genesis and numbers like 70, 80, and 90 for the vehicle size. Design will be headed up by Luke Donkerwolk, who cut his teeth designing for Audi, Bentley, and Lamborghini. He, along with veteran designer Peter Schreier, who's already redesigned Hyundai and Kia from the dark days, are likely to come up with some good-looking sheet metal. Genesis will get its own sales and service channel, which will be standalone from the Hyundai brand. It'll first launch in North America, Korea, China, and the Middle East, with Europe to follow later. The plot thickens. Now it's time for a money shot where we take the hottest photo from this week's automotive news and we show it to you. Mazda made a splash at the SEMA Show in Las Vegas with two concept versions of their 2016 MX-5 Miata. The MX-5 Speedster you see here brings the open-top 1950s era to life, even forgoing a windshield for its pure look and execution. Wicked! You know, it just so happens I just test drove that 2016 Mazda MX-5 Miata last week, and I had a blast with it. Very fun car, and it actually made our I'd Buy It list here on Test Driven TV. If you want to watch that, click on the link down below in the information section. Now next week, it's the LA Auto Show. We're going to be covering that thing wall to wall because there's going to be a lot of new cars coming out. What I recommend is click on the link right here on the screen and subscribe to our YouTube channel where we'll keep you updated on all of that plus everything else we do, which is a lot. You can also follow us on the Google, Twitter, and that Facebook by clicking on those links down below in the information section or up on our website if you happen to be there. That's testdriven.tv. I'm Sam Haymar for Test Driven TV. I hope you enjoyed the ride.